The Big Game is sponsored by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you.
Hello, everybody. Chris Egan, King 5 Sports here for the King 5 Big Game of the Week, and it is week 2, and we've got another heavyweight battle. The Wolverines from Bellevue taking on the Vikings from Lake Stevens. Head coach of Bellevue, Michael Knipe, has just done a phenomenal job with his Bellevue team. State title a couple years ago. You were the state championship game last year. And if I recall last year, your second game of the season was against Lake Stevens, wasn't it, up there? Or was it your first game of the season?
Yep, second game. This will be our fourth time in a row, second game. So we did 2-2 and then a 2-2 again with them. Obviously, they're a phenomenal program, and it gets us better every single time we play them. And our kids love it, and I think that Lake Stevens loves it. So it's been a good little tradition we've had.
They're super talented. We're excited to be here and have the opportunity to play two of the best teams in the state. Had Sumner last week, and now we get another challenge with Bellevue and their wing tee and hostile territory. It's going to be a huge challenge, but we're excited about it.
You are no stranger when it comes to getting your team deep in the playoffs, a couple state titles, several championship runs, quarterfinal runs. How important are these games early on when you play a Bellevue, when you play a Sumner to help you for later in the season?
I think it's huge. We find out right away early in the season what our strengths are and what our weaknesses are and what we have to work on as we progress and get ready into our league, and then hopefully prepare us so that when we get to the playoffs, if we're fortunate enough to make it, we've been in tight games and we've been battle tested against some of the best teams in the state. So we love these types of challenges.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Bellevue Memorial Stadium. My name is Chris Hicken from King 5 Sports, bringing you the King 5 Big Game of the Week. The Bellevue Wolverines 1-0, hosting Lake Stevens. Now, Lake Stevens won the coin toss. They deferred. They'll get the ball to start the second half. Bellevue has it, and this is our first play on their first drive, and Bellevue's going to run the rock a lot. The head coach of the Wolverines, Michael Knipe, former University of Washington Husky offensive lineman, one of the best in the business. Michael Knipe led the Wolverines to a state title in 2023. They made it to the state finals in 2024, lost to the Fighting Irish from O'Day, a team that we saw last week in the King 5 Big Game of the Week. This is a young Bellevue Wolverines team. You're taking a look at Kaysen Carta, the quarterback for the Wolverines that will be running the show out there. Coach Knipe telling me they will start 9 sophomores starting in offensive defense. They're going to run the rock a lot, getting the handoff right there. Number 23, R.J. Ward. Not much going right there. On the other side of the field, the Lake Stevens Vikings. Talk about a team that's coming out of the gate strong. They knocked off the defending state champs, the Sumner Spartans, in a thriller at home in week 1. No rest for Tom Try and his Lake Stevens Vikings, a team with plenty of success. They now take on the Bellevue Wolverines. And we talked about the heavyweight battle last week. O'Day facing off against Graham Kapowson. This is just another heavyweight battle, two of the best teams in the state. Bellevue from the 3A taking on Lake Stevens from the 4A. Third down, Bellevue's going to run the rock, and that's going to be close. That's Drayson Jimerson. Michael Knipe said, keep an eye on this young man, Egan. He is a speedster. So Drayson Jimerson is going to be a little shy. That's going to bring up fourth down in just a couple yards. So already it's decision time for Michael Knipe, but I have a feeling they're going to be going for it with their rushing attack. They love to run the wing T offense. No secret here. Here we go. Early on, already a big play, 4th and 1. The handoff right up the gut. We got some flags on the field. The Bellevue Wolverines side pointing to Lake Stevens. Looks like maybe a little bit of motion on the Viking side. We'll see. And actually, it's on Bellevue. So, offsides on Bellevue. The Lake Stevens crowd already chanting, you can't do that. 4th and 6 now with the penalty, so that will bring out the punting unit. So, good stop for Tom Try and his defense. Wolverines not an easy team to stop with their wing T offense, and they have some weapons. We mentioned they start 9 sophomores, but they are very talented sophomores. What a night here. Week 2 of the high school season is underway. Flags are on the field. This one's probably coming back. Seth Price with the return for Lake Stevens. I have a feeling this is going to be coming back a little bit. Seth Price, nice return there, though, on special teams for the Lake Stevens Vikings. We already talked about Bellevue and their success. Lake Stevens, how about Tom Try? Hired as an assistant coach back in 1998. Took over as the head coach in 2004. He's an offensive mastermind of misdirection and open space operation. In fact, in 2008, Try and his coaching staff, they took a trip down to California. They went to a spread offensive clinic in L.A. led by Tony Franklin. Brought that back up to Lake Stevens, and they are one of the top offenses in the state over the past 20 years. They are something. State title in 2023. They beat GK for the title. In 2022, they beat Kennedy Catholic for their first ever football state title. 2021, they were second place, played in the championship game, lost to the GK Eagles. 2018, they were in the state title game. They lost to Union. And in 1994, if you remember that one, they took second place, lost to O'Day in a defensive battle 7-6. The leader of this Lake Stevens team, and I want you to remember this name, Blake Moser, number 6. He is your quarterback. He is a very, very good football player. Keep an eye on this guy next year in the baseball world as well. He is one of the top baseball prospects, not only in the state of Washington, in the entire West Coast. Fastball, 94 miles an hour. Blake Moser can bring it. He is a dangerous two-sport athlete, football and baseball, but right now his focus is on football and leading this Lake Stevens Vikings team. And if you missed it in week 1, what a battle for Tom Try and the Vikings as they welcomed Keith Ross of the Sumner Spartans. A big congrats to Keith Ross and the Spartans. Took home the state title last year in dramatic fashion. Incredible win. Sumner opened up on the road at Lake Stevens, and it was a thriller. Lake Stevens winning that game. Pass is incomplete on 3rd down and 6. So that more than likely will bring out the punting unit for Lake Stevens. So both defenses holding here. Both these teams known to have pretty good offensive attacks, but the defense is coming through early on this one. Coming on King 5 Plus. Great new addition. King 5 TV, first broadcast ever on the air, was a high school football game over 75 years ago, and here we are in 2025. We are streaming you high school football, the King 5 Big Game of the Week. Not much going there for Bellevue on the return, but Bellevue will take the field. The offense will be back in the field for their second series of the day. I mentioned the big game. The big game is sponsored by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you. Bellevue with their blue pants, blue tops, their Michigan Wolverine-esque helmets. Lake Stevens with their white tops and their purple pants and the big old V on the helmet. Beautiful night for some football. Temperature in the 70s, and here's that misdirection wing tee offense they love to throw at you. Only a couple yards on the play there, though. That's Drayson Jimerson with the carry. He's getting a lot of looks early. As I mentioned, Coach Knipe said this kid, if he can break free, he is gone. Fastest one on the Bellevue Wolverines team. That's number 5, Drayson Jimerson. Handoff. Number 21, Mad Max Jones. Touchdown maker last season for the Wolverines. He's back, and he picks up the first down. You look at Bellevue's stadium there, and there have been some pretty good players that have played on that field. Thinking about the great Buda Baker that now plays for the Arizona Cardinals, Miles Jack, David DeCastro, Dimitri Manning, graduated last year, big old lineman, Scott and Steve Pallur. Reggie Jones, don't know if you remember that name. He was on the Saints team that won a Super Bowl. Marcus Henry played for the Dallas Cowboys. Jane Addams, 1994 Tony Award winner, didn't play on the football team, but was in the bleachers watching this Wolverines team. Flag down on the field. And that's coming back. Holding called on Bellevue. So already a couple penalties on the Bellevue team, and we've been talking about this team. It's young, and Michael Knipe said, week one they had a nice win over Bethel, a team that knocked off Emerald Ridge yesterday. But he said there was a lot of mistakes out there, and that's what happens when you got a young team. R.J. Ward gets the carry right there, and there's going to be another flag. So a lot of penalties coming out early here. R.J. Ward, he'll wear number 23 when he's wearing the blue. He'll switch over to 28 when he puts on the Bellevue white uniform. Officials are going to talk about it. We call him Big Game Mike Perry. He's on the camera tonight. Guy's won more Emmy Awards than Bellevue's won state titles over the years. I'm telling you, you're lucky. You're watching this live stream right now. You're not getting some high school kid shooting this thing on an Instagram thing. You are getting the top photojournalist. I'm not going to say in the state of Ohio, in the United States of America. You're getting the best. You are getting the best. This ain't some kid shooting it on his little phone vertically. You're getting top-notch highlights right here. All right, first down and 20 after. Now we're going to see here. The refs want to talk this through. Basically, we had a holding call on Bellevue and then a call on Lake Stevens. So it's going to bring up second down when all the flags are picked up. Second down at about 6 for Bellevue. Fake handoff. Kaysen rolling, scrambling, trying to find some space. Cannot get anywhere. Little celebration right there from Caden Peck. Caden Peck getting his first sack of the night and doing a little celebration time right there for Caden Peck with Ty Tutola. It's going to bring up a third down and long for the Wolverines. Just can't get the offense rolling, but this is what they do. They just like to kind of keep grinding away at you, try to out-physical you, and it just takes one misstep on the defense, and they are gone. Taking it up the middle, and Lake Stevens not fooled on that one at all, and that is going to bring out the punting unit for a second time. 2 drives, 2 punts for Bellevue. Lake Stevens defense coming out strong. And we talked last week about O'Day and Graham Capallison, and I wouldn't be surprised if you saw those two teams in the Final Four at state. Same situation here tonight. These are two well-run programs, 2 well-run teams that there's a good chance come November these 2 teams will still be playing. Lake Stevens trying to win a 4A state title. Bellevue trying to go after a 3A state title. And I mentioned last week, and I mentioned that big game, and what a thriller it was. O'Day came out of nowhere in the 4th quarter. They took the lead. GK on their final drive scores a huge touchdown. They win it 40-38. Monty Kohler was denied last Friday, becoming the all-time winningest coach by himself. He didn't have to wait long. Last night, West Seattle, O'Day, the Fighting Irish, Monty Kohler, they knocked off Rainier Beach in a good little battle. And Monty Kohler now, the all-time winningest coach by himself. He was tied with Sid Otten, the Tumwater legend, going into the season, but no longer. The record is Monty's and only Monty's at this point. And looking at him, he's got plenty of years of coaching to go. Just having a great time with O'Day, who picked up their first win of the season last night over Rainier Beach. All right, here we go. Lake Stevens with their second drive of the night. I mentioned they are led by their very, very talented quarterback. And they've got some weapons that can run the ball as well. That's Kakoa Okayama with the carry right there. Okayama, good carry there for Lake Stevens. First down. And you can see Tom tries offensive signs. Try to figure those out, what they're going to be running. We'll give you a prize package if you can figure that out. All right, big carry right here, right up the middle. Javion Farrell-Gelke picking up at least 14 yards on the play. Following his big old lineman, Caleb Connolly, Will Lynch. But that is coming back. More laundry on the field, and that is going to be holding on the Vikings. Only the second game of the season for both these teams, but last week we did not see a lot of penalties in that GKO Day game. Different story here in the first quarter. Several holding calls, a couple offsides. Maybe there's little nerves. Kids know they're live on King 5 Plus. Maybe they're feeling it a little bit here. Gotta love that big game atmosphere, but these two teams know how to handle it. Go to the air. Nice little catch right there. That's Grayson Eagers with the catch. Down to the 37. It's going to bring up second down and about 6 yards. Second down and about 6. They're calling it second and 5. 5 and some change. Nice little throw right there from Blake Moser. He can sling it. Throws a fastball in the mid-90s. He can throw that football as well. Handoff right there to Javion Farrell-Gelke. And he's got the first down for Lake Stevens. Nice pickup right there. We're mentioning all those great alumni from Bellevue High. Lake Stevens, they've had some pretty good ones as well. Jacob Eason, quarterback, led Lake Stevens. Jaden Lamar, just an all-around great human being. He now plays for the Oregon Ducks. Very talented running back for Lake Stevens in the day. Handoff goes to Javion Farrell-Gelke. Looks like there's a fumble. Bellevue thinks they've got it. Lake Stevens moving the ball. Let's see what happens when they come out of the pile. And looks like Lake Stevens is going to hold on it. Big old Will Lynch, number old 55 for Lake Stevens. Recovered it. 6'5", 245-pound junior. Will Lynch. Don't try to take his lunch money. He is a big boy that paves the way for Javion and Kakoa. All right, second down and 3. Receiver fell down. Blake didn't see that. Looks like he slipped on the turf over there. It's going to bring up third down and 3. Lake Stevens going to roll the dice here, if you will. It's a good shot of Tom Try over there. One of the best in the business. They love him up at Lake Stevens. Third down and actually pitch out. And Javion Farrell-Gelke with the first down. Nice play call there from Tom Try. Tom Try in high school, by the way, a blocking tight end in a wing-style offense under legendary coach Terry Ennis at Cascade High School. Good old Terry, one of the best. We featured him many times back in the day on the high school sports splits on King 5 TV. And then 2004, Try took over as the head coach at Lake Stevens, and they have done nothing but pretty much win week in and week out. Blake is going to roll out. He's got his man wide open down the middle of the field, and that's Grayson Eagers with the first down and some change. And he's got the old school Frank Tarkenton helmet on. I kind of love that Grayson's kind of going with that old school helmet. Kind of like the old Minnesota Viking days right there. Grayson has made a couple nice catches already. And Lake Stevens just moving it down. Clock is ticking. Good mix of pass and run here from Tom Try's offense. Hand off there to Colton Fink. Fink's going to try to cut it up. Picks up about 3 to 4 yards on the play. Another flag on the field. Knipe and Try are going to have some gray hairs after this game, and that's going to be holding on Lake Stevens, so that is coming back. So we've seen Kakoa, Javen Farrell-Gelke, Colton Fink. Those are going to be your 3 main backs that are going to come out of there. Blake will throw it as well. So far, Grayson has been his big target, number 28. His old school Vikings Fran Tarkenton helmet. First down and 20 for Lake Stevens. Moser rolls out to the left side. He's going to throw to the sidelines, out of the reach of Max Cook. Max Cook made a great effort over there, just a little out of his arm's way. And there's a good shot right there of the Lake Stevens coaches going over the playbook, trying to figure some things out. Defensive coordinator for Bellevue, Matt Gilbert. They stopped Lake Stevens on the first drive, but the second drive has been a different story. Lake Stevens moving the ball on the 33-yard line, 2nd and 20. Chris Egan and the King 5 crew coming to you from Bellevue Memorial Stadium. The big game of the week. Streaming on King 5 Plus. Moser drops back, fakes a throw. He's going to roll left, and he's going to look deep. And he's got his man, and that's a nice pickup right there. And that's Max Cook. Max Cook with a great little route there. Moser remaining calm and cool, lets it fly. And now that's a much more doable third down for Tommy Try and the Vikings. You almost get a feeling with these two powerhouses, this is 2-down territory for Lake Stevens. Javen Farrell-Gelke in his chartreuse neon green sneakers. Blake Moser is going to hand off to him, and he's going to take it left, and that should be enough for a first down. It's going to be close. We could see the chains coming out. And the head official is saying first down. Just a well-balanced attack from this Lake Stevens Vikings team. We've seen a lot of Javen Farrell-Gelke, Max Cook, a couple big catches, Grayson Eagers. First down and 10. Only 41 seconds left in this first quarter. Pitch out right there to Javian. He's going to take it to the right side and hang on. He's in. The signal is touchdown, but there is a flag down, pointing to a spot. Let's see what happens here. And that is going against Lake Stevens. Another holding call on the Vikings. 'Tis the night for holding, apparently, here at Bellevue Memorial Stadium. And a player is down. We don't like to see that, and that is one of the stars for Lake Stevens. That's Javian Farrell-Gelke, who's made some just stellar runs in this first quarter. Training staff on the field, taking a look at him. He thought he had himself a touchdown. Training staff pulling him up. That's a good sign. We like to see that. And he's going to run off the field, and we love to see that. And the Lake Stevens crowd giving him a big hand of applause. And Mike Perry, we could show it. I got to give a shout-out to the Lake Stevens crowd. I mean, it's not an easy drive down here to Bellevue, and they're showing up tonight. Look at that. They are showing up. Looks like it's camouflage night tonight on the road for Lake Stevens and the student body. Or then again, maybe that's just what they wore to school today. But it looks like camouflage day today. Good crowd, though. They always bring it at Lake Stevens. All right, here we go. 1st and 15 after the penalty. Lake Stevens in the red zone. First quarter, no score. 33 seconds on the clock. Blake Moser rolling out left side, going to the corner of the end zone. Great defensive play right there. That was a nice play from Marvin Caleppo. And you're going to hear that Caleppo name quite a bit tonight. There are 3 brothers. The Caleppo brothers, there's 3 of them that start for this Bellevue team. It's got to be fun going home after a big game, after a big win, and hanging out with the Caleppo boys. 3 of them on this team. 2nd down and 15 now. Hand off to number 1, Colton Fink, and nice little carry from Fink. Not quite in there for a touchdown, but Fink is taken down around the 3-yard line. That's going to bring up 3rd and 3, but more than likely the clock will run out. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if they try to get this. If not, that is the end of the first quarter. The big game so far, a defensive showdown. Although Lake Stevens is knocking on the door, we'll be right back with the second quarter.
The big game is sponsored by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you.
All right, welcome back to Bellevue Memorial Stadium. Bellevue Wolverines hosting the Lake Stevens Vikings, and we've got a dandy, another thriller here. But 3rd down and 3, first play of the second quarter. No score. Let's see what Lake Stevens does here. Mosier rolls out. He's scrambling. Nobody was open. He's looking, though. He's got some speed. Throwing to the end zone. Did he get in? No, he's down on the 1. Max Cook is down on the 1-yard line. Cook thought he was in there. Great defensive play from the Wolverines. A.J. Morton says, no, keeping you out of here. And it is decision time. I have a feeling the top try, they're going to go for this. 4th. Well, they're saying they got the first down on that. I didn't think they could get the first down. But apparently they got the first down. My apologies on that one. Handoff. And that should be a touchdown. Javian Farrell-Gelke is in there. So, first off, good news there for Lake Stevens fans that Javian is back in the game. And he rolls right back in the game and scores a touchdown. Just a very, very solid drive from Lake Stevens right there. Little run, little pass, little run, little pass, showing off all their weapons. Blake Moser running the offense pretty well right there. We saw a little bit of Max Cook, Grayson Eagers early on. Javian Farrell-Gelke, Colton Fink had a couple nice runs there as well. So just a solid drive from Lake Stevens. They lead it 6-0, putting an extra one on their board, and it is good. And so from Bellevue Memorial Stadium, it is now the Vikings 7, the Wolverines 0. So good little battle early on here. Let's see how Micah Knipe, Joe Razor, his offensive coordinator, how they're going to come back, see if they can get a little something going on offense. Lake Stevens has done a good job on defense so far with this team. Kason Carta, Max Jones, R.J. Ward. Let's see if they can try to get something going. Bellevue Wolverines cheer squad, dance squad, getting into it down there. You love to see that. Congratulations, by the way, to that cheer squad. Third in the nation last year. Third in the nation for that Bellevue Wolverines cheer squad. 2 years ago, they took home a state title. Just a very top program when it comes to cheerleading. They've done a great job. A couple great coaches. Third in the nation, though. Not bad at all. Beautiful night for some football here. 7-0, Lake Stevens. It's getting set to kick off. 11:20 to play in the second quarter. Michael Knipe trying to pump up his team out there. His brother also one of his coaches. And Todd Millis is going to be joining us here shortly after we watch this. Nowhere to go. Finally gets out of there. Jimerson, that was Drayson Jimerson. All right, we had him on last week, so we're like, the reviews were great. The work he does is magnificent. And when you got a big game, usually there's a good chance Todd Millis is going to be there. And Todd Millis from Varsity WA News joins us now. And Todd, we're going to go through this, but what have you seen so far this first quarter?
Well, I mean, Lake Stevens has overcome a couple self-inflicted penalties to finally get the touchdown. I mean, Blake Moser, people don't realize how fast he is until they see him up close. He can escape from pressure. He makes all the throws. He hasn't been accurate, but he's made some timely throws to set up the touchdown. So I like what I've seen from Lake Stevens so far. Yeah,
it was just a well-balanced attack there as well. We saw so a couple runs, a couple passes. The tight end Grayson Eagers came through with a couple of big plays, and so it was nice. And the defense so far, Tom Tribe's defense, shutting down this Bellevue Wolverine offense so far.
Yeah, you talk to these guys in the offseason, and they feel like this has the makings of one of the all-time great defenses, and spearheaded by the guy that's disrupting everything right now, and that's Ty Tolo.
Big old number 19.
Big old number 19. He's the biggest guy on the field. Transferred from Snohomish, immediately became a wrecker, and they can build their whole defense around that. And they've got a lot of their linebackers back from last year. It has the makings of a really, really good defense. As you can see, they're tall, lanky, and fast.
And they obviously set the tone. You and I were last week watching GK Battle O'Day at that same time up in Lake Stevens. They were taking on the defending state champs, Keith Ross and his Summer Spartans, and they came out of there with a victory, and that's not easy to beat the Spartans. Nice little run there for the Wolverines. That's going to be a first down, and that was Max Jones getting the carry there. Mad Max. I feel like I've been calling this guy's name for over a decade, but he just keeps showing up for Bellevue and keeps doing damage.
Well, look how much he's leaned out in the offseason. He was a big, strong guy, wanted to get faster. I mean, this is a very fast backfield. Raylan Witherspoon's back off his knee injury, but their workhorse is Max Jones, the fullback. He ripped off pretty much a 70-yard run every time I watched him last year. Now he's even more dynamic. If he gets through that hole, very few people are going to catch him from behind.
And Coach Knipe was telling me also, Todd, about this Drayson Jimerson. He thinks he's one of the fastest guys in the state right now, and he's getting the handoff right there. Hasn't had a whole lot of room to run tonight, but we've been told if he gets a little room, he's gone.
Yeah. And it was interesting, Chris, coming in. This is a very young offensive line. They have one senior. This sophomore class is very talented, but a lot of them have not played considerable varsity time. Now, you talk to this coaching staff. They're so high on this sophomore class that they think this could be as good a class as they've had since when Buda Baker was here in 2014.
And that's
some pretty high praise.
That says a lot. That Buda Baker team was very good. Coach is telling us they got 9 sophomores starting across the board. So we'll see if they can make some. Not a lot of room there. This Lake Stevens defense, they're pushing forward right now, Todd.
Very aggressive. I mean, yeah, it's they had the big win. I'm sure they're bringing a lot of momentum from last week with their last second win against Sumner. They got beat. They got pushed around last year on their home field by this team. Right now, they're the ones that are doing the pushing now.
Yeah, they really are. 3rd down and 4. Second quarter of play. Lake Stevens leads it, and that should be enough. It's going to be close. I think we'll see where the spot is. That should be a first down, though. Looks like Max Jones on the carry. He knows how to pick up first downs. I think he got it. No signal yet. We could see the chains come out here. Todd Millis, Varsity Wa News. Is that varsitywanews.com? Is that the best place to start?
varsitywanews.com, yes. That's the place to start. Find us. We also have a Twitter account, Varsity Wa News. And if you forget, just always find me on Many Hats Millis on Twitter.
Yeah, that's always where I go. And no rest for you. Last night you were out in West Seattle watching history be made, yet Monty Kohler, I love this man so much and what he's done. He's been coaching at O'Day since 1985. Looks like they're, Todd, just an inch short.
Wow.
Great camera work there. And it looks like they're really doing a thorough spot on this, but it looks like they are about an inch and a half short here, Todd.
Well, if they were going to go forward on 4th and 1 on their first drive, they're definitely going forward on 4th and an inch.
I don't think there's a question here that they're going for it.
Yeah.
Definitely look at them. But we were saying, we were there both in West Seattle. Monty Kohler, congrats to him. He picks up the record-breaking win. He was tied with Sid Ott, and now he has it all by himself. We were thinking maybe there was going to be a big celebration or something like that. It was just like another win for Monty. And that's who he is.
God
Todd.
bless you, Chris Egan. I mean, you wanted him to it's like fighting a marlin, man, to try and get him to comment about the record. So you did it like a pro last night.
Well, and then I said, Coach, after we left the media scrum, which was pretty much you and I go, what are you doing now? He goes, well, I got to drive the bus home.
That's what people don't realize. You know, they practice in Rainier Valley, which is a good 10-minute drive down Aurora, and he drives the bus every day to practice.
Yeah.
I mean,
does it all?
41 years, and he's driving the bus still.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, first down at 10. Lake Stevens leads at 7-0. Handoff to Trevin King, and Trevin King's going to pick up maybe 3 or 4 yards there, and this is what Michael Knipe and the offense needed, Todd. They needed just to move the chains, keep Lake Stevens' defense on the field, keep their defense off the field, get them rested up, and this is Bellevue football at its finest right here.
Well, I bet you after trying to tackle Lance McGee last week for Sumner, who's 235 pounds, this is probably like tackling, ponies compared to a horse here, So they're doing a pretty good job wrapping up the Bellevue ball carriers.
3rd and 3 for the Wolverines. Just pounding the rock, and the clock is just ticking away. Unlike last week, which the game went to about 9:45, this one might be done by 8:15 tonight, Todd, the way this thing's moving.
Hey, after last night, we're due for we deserve an early game, Chris.
Lake Stevens crowd bringing out their cell phone lights. Magic on the visiting side. Let's see if the defense can come through here. 3rd down and 3. Hold on, there's a whistle. I've already lost track, Todd, of the amount of penalties called in this game, but you're a professional, so you may have the answer to that.
I don't. It's just a lot.
Well, that's a...
And with Bellevue right now, it's procedures and holds.
Yeah. Yep. That's going to bring them back 5 yards, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 8.
So I'm going to put you on the spot, Chris.
Yeah.
One more thing about Monty.
Yeah.
Do you think he went back home and had a nice bottle of wine waiting to celebrate that win last night?
He seems like, I feel like he did have a nice bottle of red wine. I really do. I think he did. He didn't want to lead on to you and I on that one. But
Come on, Monty.
He did.
Take a glass of wine. You deserve it, man.
All right, here we go. Handoff is made. That's Drayson Jimerson. We talked about him already. And he has speed, gets around the corner, and nice little pickup there from Drayson.
I actually think that's Raylan Witherspoon.
Was that Witherspoon? My apologies there on that one.
And that's a nice sight to behold, because this was the game.
Yes, great story.
Raylan Witherspoon blew out his knee, suffered a serious knee injury, And now he's back. He's not quite 100%, but they think by the end of the season he's going to be trucking like he did, full speed.
Raylan Witherspoon, ACL, MCL, PCL injury last year at this time, and he is back on the field. An amazing story for this young man. And Michael Knipe said you couldn't ask for a better guy, just a class act, one of the leaders of this team. And you said it, Todd, great to see him out there making plays. That was awesome.
Yeah, and his dad, his dad was a longtime coach at Garfield. Took the year off to watch Raylan play. Obviously, it was a short-lived year, but now he's on the Bellevue staff, coaching running backs. He should be coaching running backs. That's what his son is. But yeah, he's on staff. He gets a much closer view than he did last year.
It's always the tough thing that people don't understand is that a lot of these coaches have kids, and not all the time those kids go to their dad or mom's school, and it's got to be tough sometimes when we're not able to watch your kid, but I'm glad it's working out for Raylan and his dad right now. All right, there's the handoff on 1st and 15 after the penalty. And Max Jones is going to pick up about 5 yards and get him back to the line of scrimmage there, Todd.
What I'm noticing is those holes are getting a little bit bigger. Max Jones kind of put this game away last year with a long touchdown run. I think it was close to 70 yards at Lake Stevens. He was bottled up early, but he's starting to pick up 5-6 yards a pop. He might be closer to popping one of those long runs than we might think.
Well, and you're taking a look there, number 71, Dwayne Masuna. He is throwing his weight around up there, and they're following him quite a bit right now. And here we go, handoff. And there is Raylan Witherspoon on the carry. Not much going there for him. That's Keegan Brown. Big old Keegan Brown, number 33, with the nice defensive play there for Lake Stevens.
Just when you kind of got a little rhythm going, they come in there and they make a tackle for loss, put Bellevue behind the chains here. This offense is not really set up to get, 3rd and long. Although, they assure me that they're going to let Kason Carta, who's a really good hurdler. He's in the hurdles finals, almost won a state hurdles title last year. He's a great athlete. They're going to let him throw a little more this year. He's supposed to be more involved as a runner as well. So offensive coordinator Joe Rizzori has a lot of faith in this young man, and we'll see if he can make a play here.
All right, 2nd and 14. Handoff. Drayson Jimerson. And we've got, guess what, Todd?
Another hold. That was a touchdown on a hold.
A couple frustrated parents below us. Not happy with all the penalties being called. Another hold. And it's going to be another long yardage setup for the Bellevue Wolverines, who they're doing what they do, though. They're keeping their defense on the sidelines, resting them up. And this Lake Stevens defense, as Todd mentioned, they are very good, but they're human beings, Todd. They're going to get tired out there this long.
Yeah, they need to get some points. Very few times I've seen this team go a half without points, so they need to put points on the board because we all know Lake Stevens probably a little more high-powered instant offense. Mm-hmm. So this is a long drive that Bellevue has. Let's see if we can.
3rd down and 24. He's going to let it fly right down the middle. He's got his man. Touchdown! What a throw! That's Nick Nora with the touchdown grab at that. Todd, you called it. Said they're going to let him throw a little bit, and Kason Carta, that was a bullet right down the middle to Nick Nora.
Well, we know Nick Nora. We know him from basketball. He's a really good basketball. Their leading scorer last year. They expect big things from him this year. He was injured most of last year, came back for the playoffs. Great pass, great catch, great drive by Bellevue.
I got to ask you this question. If you're the head coach, you're Michael Knipe, and Joe Rizzori down there, the offensive coordinator, and you see what Kason did right there. I mean, it's a perfect throw. Pressure was on him. 3rd down and 24, and he throws it right on the money to Nick Nora. That opened up the playbook a little bit to you, Todd?
I mean, this team didn't attempt a lot of passes last year, Chris. They don't attempt a lot of passes in general on the wing tee, but it would not surprise me if they, especially against the better teams, if you see him throw the ball 6, 7, 8 times a game. I mean, I think he's got that kind of capability as a passer. What surprised me a little in this first half is they have not run him a whole lot.
No.
So, but he made a great play right there as a passer to get Bellevue within 1 point here with the PAT.
All right, so 3:41 to play in the second quarter. Bellevue scores on a gorgeous throw from Kaysen Carta to Nick Nora. The basketball standout for Bellevue, showing his skills on the football field tonight. Kaysen Carta, as Todd Millis mentioned, also pretty good little track star, hurdler. Throws the ball, and I can't get enough flags on the field tonight, Todd. We can't even get an extra point up without a flag.
Yeah.
There's going to be some interesting
good old September football.
Tell the truth, do high schoolers still do the Saturday show up and look at the tapes? And
yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Be interesting to see how they go through all these penalties tomorrow morning. But
well, both of these coaches I know are very vocal by nature, so film study tomorrow might be an interesting hour.
All right. Bellevue trying to tie it up with the extra point after a couple penalties. Here we go. Kick is up, and the kick is good. So with 3:41 to play here from Bellevue Memorial Stadium. The big game once again living up to the hype. Couple heavyweights going head-to-head tonight, Todd Millis. 7-7 your score. Lake Stevens scored on their second drive of the night with a well-balanced attack, and then it was Bellevue on their third drive of the night, just pounding it right down the middle, taking it to the outside, down the middle. And what do they score on? A passing play. Kaysen Carta to Nick Nora.
13 plays, took up nearly 8 minutes off the clock. That's exactly what Bellevue needed. I'll put a little dent in this Lake Stevens defense. It's been very aggressive and very stout up to that point. But Bellevue showing some life in the run game. The big run by Raylan Witherspoon. And Kaysen Carta, let's remember that name. He's only a junior. I think he's going to have a big year.
Varsity WA News, for anybody that's listening on this broadcast right now that wants to check it out. Todd Millis joins us on the broadcast. Yours truly, Chris Egan. And you guys pretty much covering everything, Todd. Is it primarily football right now, or are we seeing, you go around the entire state of Washington, correct?
Yeah, Lauren Smith's my partner in crime, and we were talking about, next week our game of the week is Sumner and Westland, and then we're going to be making some road trips after that. We're going to be in Royal City in a few weeks if Kashmir and Royal City stay undefeated, number 1 and number 2 in 1A. A trip to Spokane, hopefully late in the year with me, Gonzaga Prep, Tri-Cities, up to Anacortes. So it's going to be fun getting around the state. But I do enjoy some King County and Pierce County football. We'll see Franklin Pierce Linden tomorrow. So
okay,
we'll complete the trifecta here in week 2.
Well, and we're watching two very, very successful programs in Bellevue and Lake Stevens. We saw 2 last week in O'Day and Graham Capallison. You mentioned Linden there. I think we've talked about Sid Otten and what Tumwater has done over the years, and kudos to Keith Ross and Sumner. But you mentioned the school there, Royal City. Is there a better football program in the state of Washington history than Royal City and what they've done at that lower tier level, though, Todd?
No, and I can't. One of the best stats I've ever come up with as a sports writer is there are 2 coaches on the West Coast that have ever won 90% of their games and have close to 250 wins. One is Bob Ladesorier from De La Salle, those great De La Salle teams. Nice catch.
Great catch right there.
And Wiley Allred from Royal. Those are the only 2 on the West Coast.
That was Deuce Wilson, I believe, with the catch there for Lake Stevens. Deuce Wilson, great route, got a foot down.
26-yard gain there by Lake Stevens.
Blake Moser just keeps on mosing down the field. This is a guy I've been told from Tom Try, Todd, he can throw a 94 to 95 mile-an-hour fastball.
It's increased since the summer. They told me 93 in the summer, so he's up a couple ticks.
His velo's up
on his fastball, but he does run in the 4.4s. He's a very fast quarterback.
All right.
Tom Try's called him the best athlete he's ever had play the position. Not the best quarterback he's had, but the best athlete he's had play the position.
And he's had a lot of great athletes through the years. Jacob Eason, one of his former quarterbacks. Jaden Lamar now suiting up for the Oregon Ducks, one of his top running backs up there at Lake Stevens. 3:09 to play, second quarter. Bellevue 7, Lake Stevens 7. Lake Stevens with their white tops and purple pants. Bellevue with their blue and blue. The maize blue and their Michigan Wolverine helmets. Second down and 4. Moser in the shotgun. Trips to the right, and he is going to the right. Seth Price makes the catch, but nothing going there. Caden Thompson with a nice tackle. Caden Thompson celebrating a little bit. He's fired up. Gets a high five from Caden Johnson, so Caden's having fun out there. That's what it's about. High school football on a Friday night. Bellevue's got one of the biggest bands they've ever had. They'll be performing at halftime. We'll have that for you here on the broadcast. 3rd down and 2. Lake Stevens trying to get something in before the half. Moser rolls out. Almost picked off. What a play there.
Great closing speed by the safety.
Marvin Caleppo. One of the Caleppo brothers,
yes,
Todd.
That's one of the interesting stories in this team. They have a Caleppo brother on every level of their defense. One's a 9th grader, one's a junior, and the big guy is in the middle of that defensive line as a senior. It's a great story to have 3 brothers playing on the same defense and starting.
I would hate to see what the bill is at Costco for the Caleppo family right now, to have 3 football players. All right, here we go. 4th down and 2. Lake Stevens going for it. That throw's going to be a little high off the mark. A.J. Morton putting a little Morton steak sauce on that one right there. And that is going to be Wolverines football. And as you can see, they're fired up on the sidelines right now. A.J. Morton, Marvin Caleppo high-fiving each other. Big stop right there for the Wolverines. And we do have a Lake Stevens player down. He did take a shot, Todd.
Yeah, that was not one of Blake Moser's best passes. He kind of left him out to dry. He's trying to make a play to get a first down, and he got popped.
Yeah, he got hit hard. A.J. Morton, I thought, was close to possibly picking that and heading the other way for a touchdown. Now we're just hoping he's all right. Took a pretty hard hit right there.
It's going to be interesting because, Tom Try recognizes that as an athlete and as a runner, Blake Moser's ready now. He has missed a fair amount of football doing baseball stuff in the summer. So Tom Try said this passing game's probably not going to be humming till, middle of the season. Blake Moser just needs to get some timing. He doesn't have a whole lot of reps with these receivers in game action. So he has not been sharp throwing the football here in the first half. I'm surprised they have not run some more quarterback runs. He had a big game with his legs last week against Sumner. I think it was close to 90 yards. So, but a good hold by the Bellevue defense here.
And that was Kikoa Okayama, who was banged up on the play. Good to see him walking off on his own to the sideline. So hopefully he'll be all right. Update from last week, Todd. You got it last night from O'Day. We had the quarterback Hutton Leverett, I believe, from O'Day that left that big game against GK. He did not suit up last night against Rainier Beach, but the news seemed pretty good from Monty Kohler that he would be back this season.
Yeah, and the freshman that's replaced him has, I think, done a nice job. He's probably a little more of a running threat. He made a couple pretty effective throws last night. I mean, he's not trying to do too much. But they need Hutton Leverett. He's a big presence, a leader in that huddle. As you mentioned, man, they had some injuries last night. They're a little beat up going into the meat of their schedule. Seattle Prep next week, and then the big showdown with Eastside Catholic here in a couple weeks.
Those schools they're not going to feel bad for them at all time.
They are not going to feel 1 ounce bad about O'Day's injuries.
No, they are not. Setting the scene for you here, a beautiful night in Bellevue. Coming to you from Bellevue Memorial Stadium, Todd Millis from Varsity Wa News. I'm Chris Egan from King 5 Sports. The big game of the week, streaming to you live and free on King 5 Plus. Great night for some football, a couple heavyweights. You're looking at 2 teams 2 years ago. Both were state champions. Lake Stevens won back-to-back state titles. Bellevue tried to win back-to-back state titles. They lost to O'Day last year, and we got some talking going on in the field right now, and Not sure if this has to do with the hit and maybe some reaction from the hit. We've seen this a lot in high school football where the referees will bring both coaches, Todd, to the middle of the field and the captains and talk things through.
Yeah, it's interesting. They're not even in the same classification. They're not in the same league. But this is a really fierce, intense rivalry what they've created in 3+ years. It doesn't surprise me. Now Tom Try and Michael Knipe are having a conversation. Both guys that know how to talk and get their point across. So,
and I feel bad. I've been saying Knipe. Is it Knipe? Is it Knipe?
It's Knipe.
It's
yeah.
Knipe.
I like to add the K to it.
Okay.
So
okay.
it is Knipe.
It is Knipe. I
Yeah.
feel, Michael, I apologize.
Yeah. Sorry,
I apologize to you.
Sorry, you never lost a game here, Mike. I should probably have your last name correct.
I should probably. Well, you said it right, Todd. It was me. I was the one misreading it. I have to apologize to Michael.
Looks like we're going back to football. Well, nope.
Still some talking on the field, and now basically the captains are going to bring in the entire Lake Stevens team, and Tom Try talking to his team about maybe some things that were said. Referees don't mess around anymore. They hear anything, they're going to bring everybody out in the field.
Oh, Tom Try was in fine form very early in this game with a couple penalties. He's not shy about sharing his opinion, and I'm sure in that big huddle he's probably telling his guys to knock it off. Let's play some clean football.
All right, 2:01 to play. Bellevue with the ball. Lake Stevens defense not getting a whole lot of rest here. Bellevue has all 3 timeouts. Max Jones in the backfield. Kason Carta under center. Handoff, and Carter's going to keep it. Fakes the handoff to Jones. Not much going right there. Akio Yanasaka was there chasing him down.
Yeah, it is really difficult unless it's a counter and you suck that defense inside. It is really difficult to get stuff on the edge against this defense. On that last drive, Bellevue was having a fair amount, just 4 or 5 yards a pop, mostly on the interior, against the interior of that Lake Stevens defense. So, but they do have to obviously keep that defense honest with some stuff outside. That's the first time I think I remember them kind of running Carter here in the first half.
All right, Carter in shotgun. He's going to throw, go to the air again. He's got Nick Nora again, so 2 throws, 2 completions to Nick Nora. Basketball standout for the Wolverines. Looking pretty good on the football field tonight as well. Clock is ticking. Bellevue still, though, has 3 timeouts. 3rd down and 4. Dwayne Masuna working that offensive line right there. And Troy Masuna, brother 77. Look at those two, 77, 71. Masuna boys, do not mess around with them. And I believe their sister, Todd, may be the manager, but I'll do a little investigating on that at halftime.
Oh, and looks like we got a timeout. Yep.
First timeout of the first half. Bellevue takes the timeout. I want to take time to thank our big game. Big game is sponsored by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you. Chris Egan and the King 5 Sports crew, along with Varsity WA News, Todd Millis joining us now. Michael Knipe, Tom Try. I'm never going to say Michael's name wrong again, thanks to you, Todd. So you're always helping me along the way. And a congrats, to, you talked about Royal City, looking back at last year, and a lot of these kids, it's all about this Friday night, and we talked about Sumner, the team that lost to Lake Stevens. What a year for Keith Ross to finally see the Spartans pick up a state title last year. That was a pretty impressive run they had.
Yeah, and obviously the way they won it with a fake punt and a field goal on the last play of the game. That the fake punt story is already, lore, urban legend, because now there's like 5 versions of it, but it doesn't matter. It still helped Sumner net its first state championship in a number of years, and Keith Ross that elusive championship.
Yeah, pretty special time. Raylan Witherspoon on the carry. More flags on the field. And if you're just joining us, Raylan Witherspoon, injured last year. Not only, it was ACL, MCL, PCL, pretty much out. And the fact that he is back on the football field tonight is a pretty cool story.
Yeah, it was right around this time of the game last year. He was going down the sideline, got popped out of bounds, and his knee just got stuck and it buckled. It looked bad. I think they held out some hope. It was interesting, Chris, because when he got hurt, a couple days later, they thought, hey, it was just a sprain. But then they got the dreaded MRI later that week, and pretty much every ligament in that knee was severed. And long road back, but good to see him back. He's a good young man, an all-Metro running back as a sophomore for Garfield, for his dad, and they expect big things for him, including in the special teams return game.
All right, 3rd and 14, 1:04 on the clock, 7-7 game. Bellevue with the ball. Handoff is made. That's Drayson Jimerson. Not much going there for him, being chased down by Dylan Finney. Dylan Finney brings him down. Also there on the play, Akio Yanasaka was there. Finney was the first one to bring him out, and that's going to bring up 4th down and about 8. I think we'll be seeing the Bellevue punting squad here, Todd.
Yeah, Seth Price back there. He's the one that had the big catch last week to beat Sumner. A real multi-purpose weapon for Lake Stevens.
Okay, as they're punting, I got to ask you, best Bellevue Wolverine player of all time. Was it Buda Baker, Miles Jack, David DeCastro, Dimitri Manning, the Pelura brothers, Reggie Jones, Marcus Henry? Personally, I had the pleasure to watch a lot of Buda Baker's games, and I think he's the best to ever put on a Bellevue Wolverine.
See, I'm going to go Miles Jack, but I'm going to go for not only what he did on the football field, but you remember how big Miles Jack was. One of the most remarkable things I've ever seen is a man that big that could cover the 400 meters in less than 50 seconds. He was a state runner-up in track and field in the 400. I couldn't believe watching him being that big, 240 pounds, and be in the 40-second range in the 400 meters. He's one of those once-a-generation athletes that you see. So I'm going to go Miles Jack. You go Buda Baker. They both played in the NFL.
I think we're not bad with either of those calls.
Yeah.
No sign, by the way, of Chris Pratt on the other sidelines, the Lake Stevens alum. We were hoping maybe Chris Pratt would join us here in the booth tonight, talk a little high school football. I know he's got a big Mario Brothers movie coming out, and he wanted to promote that. We offered it out there for him, but Todd, if you see him when you go down the sidelines, send him up. Okay?
Chris Pratt probably has VIP sideline pass, so I will look for him and see if I can get him up here with the King 5 guys.
I have not spotted him at a Lake Stevens game, but maybe someday we will. All right, 46 seconds on the clock. Lake Stevens going to try to get something on the board. It is a 7-7 game. Scrambling, looking, throwing, and finding a wide open Kikoa Okayama, and that's good news because he was the one that was banged up on the play. A.J. Morton laid a licking on him, and he went to the sidelines, but great to see him back on the field.
Yeah, if Lake Stevens can get, 30 more yards, they have a really good place kicker who kicked a lot of field goals last year. So they got a guy that has a big leg to get a field goal at the end of the half, but I know they want 7, but 3 is certainly possible if they can get 30 more yards here.
Well, Tom tries letting Grayson Eagers have it a little bit down there. As you said, he's very vocal. He didn't like something that he saw. Timeout, Lake Stevens. They still have 2 timeouts. Bellevue still has 33 seconds. There's plenty of time for Lake Stevens to get something on the board here.
I thought that was a great shoulder fake by Blake Moser to buy a couple more seconds. To get Kikoa to kind of spot him in the open there and put it right on the money. I thought that was Blake Moser's best pass of the half, guys.
All right. Blake Moser, Lake Stevens, 7-7 game, 33 seconds on the clock. They still have 2 timeouts. Javian Farrell-Gelke in motion. Moser looking. He's got plenty of time. Scrambles to the left. And stays on his feet somehow. Oh, picked off. What a play. Oh, my goodness. I believe that was Matt Curran, the sophomore, that ended up picking it off. Big old number 52, Matt Curran. Now, Matt didn't provide the pressure. Not sure who got the hit on Mosier, he still attempted to throw it. He was in trouble. And Matt Curran, one of those super sophomores we're talking about on this Bellevue team, coming up with a huge play right near the end of the first half.
Yeah, now Bellevue's in business at the 33, and they've got 2 timeouts, 19 seconds before the half ends.
All right, just like that, a big swing of momentum here from Bellevue Memorial Stadium. Looks like Lake Stevens was going to march down, try to get themselves a field goal or a touchdown. All of a sudden, Bellevue's got the ball. Ball on the 33. Kaysen Carta and the Wolverines on the attack. Pitch out. Max Jones, nice little run there. Moving the ball. Coach Knipe and the Wolverines are in business all of a sudden.
Yeah, when you pick up 10 yards in 7 seconds, I think that's a pretty good ratio.
12 seconds on the clock. Bellevue with 2 timeouts. That was Keegan Brown chasing down Max Jones on the play.
And I'm not sure Max Jones on an outside run could have run away from a defender last year. That's where I think the leaning out and losing a few pounds has really helped him.
Trevin King, Max Jones in the backfield. Carter's going to throw, looking to the end zone. Looks like a touchdown. Are they going to touchdown? Nick Nora strikes again. How about this, Todd Millis? Kaysen Carter, Nick Nora have themselves a night.
Yeah, Nick Nora is one of those athletes it's tough to match up whether you're bigger and slower or smaller and quicker. He's just a really good combination of size and speed. Doesn't have a lot of football under his belt, but he's made 2 really good catches. That was a contested catch that he came down with on the right pylon. What a rally here in the second quarter, Chris.
I mean, what a change of events. I mean,
yes.
You had 33 seconds. Lake Stevens had the ball. They were moving it. Fumble, great defensive pressure. Bellevue recovers. Max Jones with a nice run to the outside. Kaysen Carter then rolls out and throws another great pass to Nick Nora. And you can talk about this Bellevue Wolverines team. They're going to run it hard. They're going to run the rock left, right up the middle. But, Todd, they got 14 points, and they've both come off the throw tonight.
I don't know if they've had a half under Michael Knipe where both of their touchdowns or all of their touchdowns have come through the air. But they do tonight. Carta to Nora, and it's been a good combination so far.
Yeah, Knipe took the hat off. Put his hands through the hair. I think he's feeling a little bit better right now. There were some moments right there, down 7-0. They weren't getting anything going out there, Bellevue. Couldn't get the offense rolling.
Yeah, that long drive I think settled the Wolverines down, that 8-minute drive to get the tying touchdown, and their defense has played really well the last couple drives to get stops, including the turnover.
Well, coming up at halftime, I'm going to take a break. Todd's going to do his other job, Varsity Law News. But we've got the Bellevue Band, 170 members. I've been told by their band director that is the most they have had in their band in a long time. So 170 members for the Bellevue Band. They're going to perform. They've got 3 songs from 3 movies, Wicked, Superman, and How to Train Your Dragon. We've got the Bellevue Dance Team. They'll be performing tonight at halftime as well. Todd Millis, Varsity Law News, always a pleasure. I'm not sure when our paths will cross again. Hopefully sooner, but I don't see the King 5 Plus game crew going to Royal City, although it would be a great trip.
Maybe Puyallup Sumner.
Puyallup Sumner
continue to win. That'd be nice. Yeah, I'm sure I'll see you here in the next few weeks, Chris.
Well, with that
definitely in the playoffs.
With that in mind, it's only week 2. But who would be some of your teams to watch, if you will? I mean, we've already tonight and last week saw 4 teams probably to keep an eye on. What are some other ones out there?
I like this 4A classification. We saw a team that I told you wasn't on my radar. I had the Big 5 with Lake Stevens, Chiawana, Gonzaga Prep, Sumner, and Camas. I think you have to put GK in that mix now after the win against O'Day. So the 6. But you look at that. You look at Puyallup. Glacier Peak is a good young team.
The Vikings are loaded, and I think they got a new coach down there. They're bringing in
DJ Mims. So there's some teams that could really kind of rise in the ranks. I think 4A is the deepest classification of the 6 around the state this year. I think it's going to be a really fun classification. I think this team that we're watching in the purple and white is going to be a big factor when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I agree with that. The 3A seems pretty wide open as well right now, too.
Yeah, you got the Metro teams. I think Mount Tahoma's got a really good young team. 26 seniors. They're going to play they're playing Camas tonight in a really good non-conference showdown down there in Clark County.
You know why the teams like to go to Clark County now? Because I know Pialm said Evergreen.
I have been in that drive-through.
But you know why?
I've been in that drive-through.
They all want to go down there to In-N-Out Burger now.
Hour and 10 minutes. That's the wait time at the In-N-Out in Richfield.
We need to schedule games. Who can we play from the Vancouver area? Oh, we got Evergreen. So, I mean, Pialm. That's why the Pialm's down there. They all wanted to go to In-N-Out Burger.
Well, with all the Pialm fans, that's going to be an hour and 25 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know why they had to go to Evergreen. The Washington State Fair's going on, Todd. They could have just got themselves an onion burger and a crusty puff. I can't, by the way, Todd, I can't even get through September. I'm going to be like 800 pounds when this is over with all the fair food. It's impossible to eat well right now at the fair. All right, handoff. That should be the last play of the half. And Todd Millis, it has been a pleasure as always. Varsity Wa News, follow him, join him. He is the best in the business, and hopefully we will see him again soon on another one of our broadcasts. Todd, any final thoughts as we get ready for halftime?
Yeah, let's expect hey, Lake Stevens has been in this situation before behind and come back here and won a couple years ago. So I expect some fireworks here in the second half. Chris, thanks for letting me join you for a quarter, and best of luck here in the next few weeks. I'm sure our paths will cross again.
There he is, the great Todd Millis. Varsity Wa News coming up. We got the halftime show, the Bellevue dance team. We've got the Bellevue band, 170 members strong. We've got our top 10 plays of the week. Paul Sylvie will have those for you. And maybe a look back at Monty Kohler's historic win as well. At the half, Bellevue 14, Lake Stevens 7.
The big game is sponsored by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you.
A nice round of applause for the Bellevue High School dance team. Good evening. Under the student leadership of drum majors Cameron Aguero Schreier, Sophia Shu, and Holly Peterson, we are proud to present the Bellevue High School Marching Band. This year's movies had us soaring through the sky, whether fast as a superhero, on the wings of a dragon, or above the Emerald City. The band takes you on a soaring tour this year in movies, beginning with themes from the box office smash musical Wicked. Look, up at the sky. Is it a bird? A plane? No, it's a soaring hero saving the world. Enjoy the iconic theme by John Williams from this summer's DC Extended Universe movie, Superman. The band closes this evening's program with a crowd favorite, John Powell's moving and unforgettable music from How to Train Your Dragon. Go Bellevue. Let's give the Bellevue High School Marching Band a nice round of applause.
Welcome back to the King 5 Big Game of the Week. Chris Egan coming to you live from Bellevue Memorial Stadium. Taking a look right now at the Bellevue cheer squad and the dance squad. Dance squad did a great job at halftime. And how about that Bellevue band, 180 members strong, 170 members strong. One of their biggest classes ever for the Bellevue band, just putting on a great performance out there with 3 fun songs. As far as the game, it is definitely living up to the hype. 14-7, Bellevue with the lead. Nick Nora with a couple touchdowns for the Wolverines and a couple great plays. Will those be possible top 10 plays of the week? Well, executive sports producer Tony White has the final say on the top 10 plays of the week, and let's take a look back now. Here's Paul Sylvie with last week's top 10 high school plays of the week.
Number 8, Enumclaw and Decatur. Gators quarterback Antoine Williams hits Scotty Dinwiddie 45 yards for the touchdown, and the Claw wins this one. Number 7, Federal Way has its way with Auburn Mountain View. The Fed on the screen, Zamari Tellez follows his blockers for a 30-yard touchdown. Number 6, Bethel and Bellevue. Wolverines quarterback Kason Carta keeps it and rushes straight into your living room and straight into our photographer all. Bellevue wins it 35-14. Number 5, big game, play 1. Graham Kapalson's AJ Tuivaiave whips it to Quincy Rattray. Great grab for the touchdown. Number 4, Jackson and Everett. Seagulls quarterback Kai Schmidt Sends it to Delmarion Minifield, and he absolutely burns the defense 68 yards, completely untouched. Number 3, back to the big game. GK wins the thriller. This play, though, goes to the Irish. O'Day receiver Leo Bancaro takes the pass, and he is gone. 70 yards for the catch and run touchdown. Number 2, back to Everett and Jackson. Each team had a big one. Here's the ensuing kickoff out of play number 4. Jackson's Trey Austin dips a shoulder, gets some room, and he's all gone for the touchdown. Number 1 play comes from Sumner and Lake Stevens. Very first offensive play of the game for Lake Stevens. Junior running back Javian Farrell Gilkey breaks 3 tackles and has nothing but green turf ahead. 75-yard touchdown to set the tone, and the Vikings win.
And there they are, the top plays of the week. You can watch those every week, Monday night on King 5 TV, 9:45, 10:45 on Kong TV. Sports executive producer Tony White has the final say. He sits there all night long, kind of picks out the top plays, and then you can check them out on the King 5 Sports Instagram page. And, of course, we'll put them on during the big game of the week. We've been talking, Todd Millis and I talked a little bit about Monty Kohler making history, and that history was made last night, Thursday night in West Seattle. Let's take a look back now at Monty Kohler's historic night. Rainier Beach was fired up for their first home game of the season, but the defending 3A state champs from O'Day were ready to roll. After scoring on their first drive, the Irish would cash in again. Owen Bruskern takes it 29 yards for the touchdown, 14-0 O'Day. Down but not out, Rainier Beach answers back. Sir Jewel Glover with the 28-yard touchdown. What a catch from Sir Jewel. It's a 14-8 game. In the third quarter, it's O'Day's sophomore, Jay Sean Wilson, with a great run. Jay Sean will not be denied, and Monty Kohler will also not be denied from making history.
Way to compete. Good job, baby.
O'Day wins it 31-16. Monty Kohler was tied with Tumwater legend Sid Otten for the most wins in state history, but now Kohler stands alone.
I mean, I understand where, Sid and the history of the Washington football, and I'm proud to be a part of it. But again, like I said, it's not why we ever got in this profession.
Monty started coaching at O'Day in 1985. He's won 5 state titles. But for him, it's never been about wins and records.
It's not about that record. It's just about the process of going through all of it together with them and the players. So
he doesn't really like to talk about all that, and he likes to keep it within us. But he deserves it. And he's an amazing coach, and I love him to death. And he's the GOAT. That's all I got to say. He's the GOAT.
Well, a lot of respect for O'Day's Monty Kohler, now the winningest coach of all time. A live look now as the Bellevue Wolverines are taking the field. They've got a 14-7 lead here over Lake Stevens. We'll be right back with the second half. Welcome back, everybody, to the second half of the King 5 Big Game of the Week, streaming to you live on King 5 Plus. Just download the app. It is free to you, and if you are watching at home, thank you for enjoying this game, supporting high school sports, something King 5 Sports has been doing for 75 years. The first ever broadcast on King 5 television was a high school football game. King 5 believes in community, believes in high school, showcasing positive stories from the prep zone to high school football games. It is so cool that King 5 has decided to do this year. You asked, the viewers asked. We've always had the big game of the week. We did pre-games at 5 and 6:45 with highlights at 9, 10, and 11. And for years, people have been saying, can't you show us the whole game? Can you please show us the whole game? And, well, King 5 listened, and here you go. Streaming to you every Friday night, the King 5 Big Game of the Week, sponsored by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you. Setting the table for you here from Bellevue Memorial Stadium. Lake Stevens came out on their second drive of the night. Great balanced attack, passing, running. They scored on a 1-yard rush to take a 7-0 lead. Bellevue answered back, bringing it down the field with their wing T offense, and then they go to the air on a big third down play. Kason Carta finds Nick Nora with a great touchdown play to tie the game at 7-all. Lake Stevens had a chance at the end of the half. They were moving the chains, going down the field with under a minute to go, but then a huge defensive play from the Bellevue Wolverines, knocking the ball loose. They pick it off. And then it's Kason Carta to Nick Nora one more time, and that's where we're at right now. Bellevue Wolverines, they lead it 14-7. Both teams coming to this game 1-0. Bellevue starting off the season with a win over Bethel. Lake Stevens, the team you're looking at now, in their white tops and purple pants, with a thrilling win over the Sumner Spartans in Week 1 up at Lake Stevens. And by the way, for all of our listeners, I love Todd Millis, but I was right. It is Michael Knipe. I've been saying it that way for several years now, and I'm glad I was right. During the halftime, we got some text messages from the Bellevue Wolverines and some of their fans and their great Twitter page. And Michael Knipe it is, and Michael Knipe it will always be. Michael apologize that I listened to Todd there for a few minutes and changed the pronunciation of your last name, but I'm just excited that I was right, and I know you and your brother have done your name proudly, and your dad is watching from the stands tonight, and Michael Knipe, a proud father of 2, just had his second baby just last August. Proud father, just has done an exceptional job here with the Bellevue Wolverines, a team that won the state title in 2023. Last year, they made it to the state finals, losing to O'Day. But and this year's team, very young. 9 sophomores on this team. We talked about one of those sophomores came up with a big play at the end of the first half, getting that interception on the sideline that led to their second touchdown. It was the freshman Matt Curran, number 52 for Bellevue, had the big pick. I love it when big guys get interceptions. It's just fun to watch them get the pick and rumble down the field. I mean, Matt Curran takes that back for a touchdown. He's the ESPN top 10 tonight. But we'll see if executive producer Tony White puts him in the top 10 next week on the King 5 Big Game Plays of the Week. All right, second half getting ready to start here. Bellevue kicking off. Lake Stevens will get the ball. We'll see what Tom Try had to say to his team. Not much going on the kickoff return there, but coming back out on the field will be Blake Moser, coming off a great Game 1 against Sumner. Had some good passes in the first half, hooked up with Max Cook on a few. Grayson Eagers had a couple nice catches. Javen Farrell-Gelke, he's responsible for the lone touchdown tonight for Lake Stevens. A very high-powered offense led by Tom Try. Tom Try, we've talked about Bellevue and the success Michael Knipe has had. Well, Tom Try's been pretty good as well. 2023 state champions. Beat Graham Kapowson for the state title. That's Javian Farrell-Gelke with the handoff. Has neon yellow shoes on tonight. 2022, Lake Stevens state champions beat Kennedy Catholic. 2021, they were second place. 2018, they were second place. But just what an incredible run they've had up there at Lake Stevens. Tom Try and his coaching staff have done a phenomenal job. 1-0 to start the season, but they trail here in week 2 to the Bellevue Wolverines, 14-7. Handoff is made to Javian, and not much going there. Gets tripped up, just picks up a couple yards. That's going to bring up a third down. Third down and about 3. We'll see how they spot it. Third down and 2. Third down and 2. Caleppo with the tackle for the Wolverines. But if you say Caleppo has the tackle, you better put a first name in front of that, considering there's 3 of them out there. All right, handoff. And that looks like first down and a little change there for Lake Stevens as they're coming out strong out of the gates here. Javian with the first down run. 14-7. Beautiful night in Bellevue. Nice little crowd for week 2, a non-conference game. 4A team, 3A team. 64 degrees, your current temperature. 8:36. Beautiful night in Bellevue, Washington. 10:16 to play. Blake Moser is going to keep it. That was something Todd Millis was thinking that maybe he'd see a little bit more of from Blake Moser, was running the ball. He's very speedy, very fast, phenomenal baseball player as well. Has not had a lot of carries tonight, though. Second down and 8. Blake in the shotgun. Going to hand it off. Already some flags are on the field. Javian's got the handoff. Javian down the middle. Javian 20, 10, 5. Down on the 1-yard line. The big question mark now, will this be coming back? Will this be coming back? Michael Kanai pointing, yes, it will be coming back. And he's got a thumbs up, so head coach for the Wolverines feels fine about this one. And if there's been anything tonight, a sub-story on what these two coaches are going to look at, it's going to be the amount of penalties that they have had. A lot of penalties tonight. I don't know if I've said I love the Bellevue cheer squad enough tonight, but they are the best. Bellevue cheer squad, one of my favorites, number 3 in the nation last year. And that is coming way back. That's going to set up a second down and 13 for Lake Stevens. Javian with just a great run right there. Brought down on the 1-yard line, and all of a sudden now the ball is back on the 40. Penalties not going the way for Lake Stevens tonight. All right, Blake lets it fly right down the middle. He's got a wide open target. That's number 4, Seth Price. Seth Price with the catch. Seth Price, Max Cook, Deuce Wilson, Dylan Finney. Some of the wide receivers you'll see Blake throw it to tonight. 8:40 to play. Bellevue with the lead. Their maize pants, gold trim, Michigan Wolverine helmets. Moser lets it fly a little high. Javian Farrell-Gelke sensing some Wolverines in the neighborhood. And we saw that earlier tonight. A.J. Morton laid a licking on Kikoa Okayama. All right, big play here. 4th down and 3. Lake Stevens going for it. Ball on the 50. They need 3 yards for a first down. Blake scrambling. He's got some room. He's going to run for that first down, and he's got it. First down, and that's what we thought we'd be seeing a little bit more of tonight, and we're starting to see that. Mosier taking off. He's got some wheels. He saw some daylight, got the first down. Hard to contain him. Desmond Lloyd trying to get there for the Wolverines. First down and 10. Ball on the 42. Lake Stevens down 14-7. Mosier looks to his right to Javian, hands it off to him. Javian in his neon green shoes is off to the races one more time. And this is probably coming back again. Another holding call. 2 flags are on the field. Has to be some frustrations over on the Lake Stevens sidelines right now. Lots of holding calls tonight. And there may be some Bellevue folks saying, well, Egan, that's why he's making the nice run. But a huge shout out, by the way, to the entire Bellevue administration, from the principals, athletic directors, to the coaches. When we made the call over here that we're going to love to do our big game of the week, just open arms, Egan, whatever your crew needs, get on over here. We love how King 5 Sports supports high school football, and we want to do whatever it takes. So a big shout-out, a big thank you to the Bellevue staff. Nice throw right there, a nice catch. That's Seth Price with the catch. Seth Price with a couple nice catches on this drive. Limping off a little bit. Hope he's okay. And yet again, every time we go up to Lake Stevens, we have a ball up there, and we love going up to Lake Stevens. They put on a show as well. All right, second down and 5. Mosier with a nice throw. Seth Price with a catch. Mosier scrambling, throwing, throws a little deep. He was looking for Max Cook. Max Cook saying something to the side official. I don't think he liked the hit after the throw. Not sure there was much the Bellevue defender could have done right there on that one. All right, third down and 5, 6:49 to play here from Bellevue Memorial Stadium. Lake Stevens trips to the left. Javian in the backfield. Blake Mosier shotgun. Handoff. Gelke. And he's got the first down and some change. He's had some huge runs in this half. You take away the 2 holding calls, and Farrell Gelke's got about 200 yards rushing here in this third quarter. He is definitely one of the top running backs in the state of Washington right now, and he's showing it. Wasn't long ago we were watching a young man by the name of Jaden Lamar lead the Vikings on the field from the backfield. All right, first down and 10. Lake Stevens moving that ball. And that is going to be a touchdown for Lake Stevens. Kakoa Okayama showing off his speed right there. Kakoa with a great little play. Little celebration in the end zone with Blake Mosier. And just like that, Lake Stevens is an extra point away from tying up the big game of the week. And you had a feeling Tom Try was going to have his team ready to go. Remains calm and cool despite 2 holding penalties, which brought him back. They just kept grinding away. Mosier with a couple nice passes on that drive. Lucas Mooring is in for the extra point, and would you believe it? There's a flag on the field. If I got $1 for every flag thrown tonight, I'd be buying the King 5 crew a round of beers afterwards. I mean, it is just a lot of flags out there tonight. Referees are getting paid extra tonight. Going to the sidelines to talk to Tom Try about it. (14-13) your current score, third quarter. Kakoa Okayama. Okayama with the touchdown run. Great little run. Javian Farrell-Gelke had a lot of great runs on that drive, but in the end it's Kakoa that gets in for the touchdown. All right. Lucas Mooring back in. Trying to tie this ball game up. Lucas. Kick is up, and the kick is good. So with 6:12 to play here in the third quarter, Lake Stevens 14, Bellevue 14, and this game is heating up. Big game of the week. Coming in from Bellevue Memorial Stadium, we got a dandy tonight. 14-all. All right, welcome back. Bellevue Memorial Stadium. Lake Stevens 14, Bellevue 14. Thing I love about the big game, and we're streaming on King 5 Plus, we've got viewers from everywhere. I was saying Michael Knipe right, and then Todd Millis. I love him to death, but had me change the pronunciation. But quickly, the Bellevue fans were like, Egan, you're good. It's Michael Knipe. Now I'm getting text messages from the great Brock Heward, former quarterback for the Puyallup Vikings. Mike Heward, one of the legendary coaches there. And Brock says, Egan, Matthew Curran, nose tackle, actually defensive end for Bellevue with the interception. His dad, Steve, former Washington State baseball player. So Matthew Curran, the sophomore, with a nice big play and getting a shout out from Brock Heward tonight. His dad, Steve, former Wazoo baseball player. So there's a little athletics in that family right there. All right, looking at that big old offensive line now for the Bellevue Wolverines as they get ready to go. 14-14 your score. 6:12 to play here. Bellevue's offense has been looking good the last couple drives. Kason Carta leading the charge. Max Jones in the backfield right now, along with Raylan Witherspoon. Handoff to Max Jones. Not much going there. Big old Ty was in on the tackle. Transfer from Snohomish High School. Second down and 8, just 2 yards on the play for Jones. Carter looking to the sidelines. Joe Rosori, offensive coordinator for the Wolverines. Here they come. Carter leading the charge. Carter with the handoff. R.J. Ward with the carry. By the way, a shout out to whoever's with the Bellevue Athletics Department that said, Egan, R.J. Ward, when he's in his maize uniform, he's number 23. When he's in the white uniform, he's 28. So they're making it easy for me. We appreciate that. All right, here comes Carta back to the field. Going to talk things through. He's got Jones. He's got Ward in the backfield. Handoff to Drayson Jimerson. Not much there. Lake Stevens defense. And that will be enough, though, for the first down. Not much there, but enough to get the first down for the Bellevue Wolverines. First down and 10, ball in the 31, 4:37 to play here. Handoff to Max Jones. Couple yards there for Mad Max Jones. A lot of great carries through the years for this Bellevue Wolverines team. Masuna boys up front, leading the way. Eric Fang up there. Adam Neff, Ramsey Neff. Handoff. Drayson Jimerson shaking and baking down on the 50-yard line. And Michael Knipe told me this young man is one of the fastest players he has ever seen. And Drayson's showing you a little bit of that speed right there. He is awfully dangerous. Kaysen Carta, by the way, a state hurdler. Love to see him get out free and see if he can hurdle one of these Lake Stevens defenders. All right, first down and 10. Bellevue moving the rock right now. Handoff right up the middle to Max Jones. Picks up a couple yards. Second down and 6, ball on the 46-yard line. Joe Rizzori having some words with Kaysen Carta. Carta comes down to the field. Here we go. Let's see what Bellevue's got here on second down and 6. Trevin King, Max Jones in the backfield. Drayson Jimerson gets the handoff. Jimerson left side. And he gets hit hard. Braden Slezak with a big old hit. That's Slezak, not Sleestacks from Land of the Lost, a show from the great 70s and 80s that nobody under the age of 40 knows about. But Slezak, not Sleestack, with the hit right there. Third down and 4 for Bellevue. Here they go. Handoff is made. Max Jones with the carry. Going to be very close to the first down. And it is enough for the first down. Max Jones just continues to bring it for this Wolverines. Number 55, Matthias Caleppo on the field, one of the Caleppo brothers. 3 of them out there for Bellevue. Hopefully it's just a cramp. 64 degrees, near 70 at kickoff. I do not do weather on the side, but we do have some of the best meteorologists in the business at King 5 TV. Big game. Can't send enough thank yous to Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you. Phillips Law Firm, stepping up big time. We love that. Helping us bring these high school events. So many people out there like, we need more positive things on the air. We need more good things on the air. Well, here's King 5. I don't want to toot the King 5 horn, but the only station covering high school sports. I mean, high schools are the heart, the community. It's all about the kids, the future, the positivity. Everybody else out there, we need more of this. Got to support the kids. They are the future. We got to show them doing great things because they are, and we've been seeing it tonight. The Bellevue Band, 170 members strong, the cheerleaders, the dance team. This Bellevue water polo team, I've heard about them. I've heard how good they are. I can't wait to watch them this year. All right, first down and 10, 14 all. Handoff is made. Max Jones just continues to just working hard. That offensive line paving the way. Troy Masuna, Eric Fain, Dwayne Masuna leading the charge. Nick Nora has 2 touchdowns tonight. Tackle was made by Lake Stevens' Caden Peck, number 7, first down at 10. Handoff again to Jones. Jones getting helped up by Adam Neff. His O-line is working hard. Old Bellevue, they love to run the wing T offense. Precise, very disciplined. You can't make a mistake on defense or they will burn you. They love to out-physical you at the line. But in the end, they love the wing T, but Bellevue scored twice tonight on passing touchdowns. Kason Carta to Nick Nora. Couple great plays. Just milking the clock, keeping that Lake Stevens defense on there. Carter's going to keep it. Takes it to the outside. Couple yards maybe, not much there on the play. 4 yards on the play for Carta. Coming on over to the sidelines. Kason Carta, phenomenal athlete, track star, quarterback. Leading this Bellevue offense is not easy. Any former Bellevue quarterback would tell you that. Got to be very disciplined. Troy Masuna quick to the ball. 3rd down and 8. Handoff is made. That's Raylan Witherspoon on the carry. Not much there for Witherspoon. And if you're just joining us, just another great story about a kid doing amazing things. Raylan Witherspoon last year against Lake Stevens, injured, out for the season, ACL, MCL, PCL, and here he is tonight, back on the field. Just awesome stuff. Determined to get back on the field, and that is what he is doing. And here we go. All right, big play time, 14 all, 4th down and 8. Student sections are on their feet. Carter's going to roll out, throw in the air. Carter with just another great throw. And that's Kalepo who makes the grab. They have not thrown a lot, but when they do, Carter has been right on the money. And Kalepo with a great catch right there. Huge play there for the Wolverines on 4th down. All right, 1st down and goal. Handoff to Max Jones. And we cannot say enough about the Emmy Award-winning photography from Mike Perry, who has, like I said, he has more Emmys than Bellevue has state titles. Many photographers will shoot Bellevue football, and they get fooled left and right. Mike Perry has not. I don't think he's been fooled once tonight. And looks like we're going to get a timeout here. Or no, actually, excuse me, end of the quarter. This thing is flying by tonight. My apologies. That is the end of the 3rd quarter. It's a dandy. Bellevue sitting on the doorstep. We'll be right back for the 4th quarter.
The Big Game is sponsored by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you.
Welcome back, everybody. Hang on. We're just starting off the fourth quarter here, and we've got a dandy. A lot of flags tonight, but that doesn't change what's happening here. This is a great ball game between two very, very good programs. 14 all your score. Setting the table for you here. Lake Stevens took a 7-0 lead on a 1-yard touchdown run. Bellevue answers back with 2 touchdowns through the air. Lake Stevens with a touchdown in the third quarter to make it a 14-all game. And Bellevue has been on the move now for 6 minutes, 7-minute drive here, just working their way down the field. Grounded and pounding, but on fourth down it was a big pass play from Carter that got him the first down. Second down, handoff is made. Drayson Jimerson gets the carry. 5 yards on the play for Jimerson. That's going to set up 3rd and goal. 3rd and goal, which is about 10 yards away right now. Ball on the 10-yard line after the penalty. Interesting here on the way Bellevue's defense is playing. They can't get it here, will they kick the field goal just to take the lead? We'll see what Michael Kanai has planned. I think he'd rather score right here. They're going to the air. There's the throw. Interception! And Lake Stevens coming up with a big play on defense right there. Felix Ramsey with the interception for Lake Stevens. 3rd and goal, and it was number 9, Felix Ramsey, with your defensive play of the night, silencing the Bellevue crowd, and that has the Lake Stevens students on their feet over on the far side. So with 11:47 to go, it's Felix Ramsey coming up with a big defensive play, picking off Kaysen Carter, who had been pretty much perfect from the air all night long. That was his only mistake so far. Let's see if the Bellevue defense can get it back or if Lake Stevens can move it down. Lake Stevens with so many weapons. Kakoa Okayama at the touchdown run in the third quarter. Javian Farrell Gelke, several big runs. Quarterback Blake Mosier leading the charge, number 6, Lake Stevens. White tops, purple helmets. Second down and 7. Mosier rolls out. He throws deep. Mosier. There's a flag on the field. Bellevue coaches seem like it's against Lake Stevens. Officials talking on the 30-yard line right now. They've been busy tonight. No question about that. And that is actually going to be against Bellevue. Bellevue coach is not liking that call one bit at all. That's going to be a first down for Lake Stevens. Blake Mosier looking over the sidelines. Kakoa Okayama in the backfield along with Javian Farrell Gelke. Pitch out. Gelke following his blockers. Number 55, Will Lynch, leading the way. 5 yards on the play for Gelke. Another good little battle. Big game. Last week we had a thriller. GKO Day coming down to the wire. GK Eagles winning at home at Art Crate Stadium, 40-38. On a last-minute drive. Will tonight come down to the final drive? We'll see. It's looking like that. And Blake Mosier, we talked about it in the first half. He didn't run it a lot in the first half. Todd Millis, Varsity Wanu, says I'd expect him to run a little bit more, and that's exactly what Lake Stevens has been doing in this second half. We saw 3 Blake Mosier runs on their first drive in the third quarter. Gets a big run right there and a first down for Lake Stevens. 10-10 to play here. Fourth quarter, 14 all. Kakoa in motion. Handoff. Javian Farrell-Gelke. And he's moving down the field. Tackle by Eogi. So all of a sudden, momentum has switched sides. Bellevue with a great drive. Got it into the red zone. And then an interception. And now all of a sudden Lake Stevens is moving down the field. Blake Mosier in the shotgun. He's going to keep it. He's going to throw. He's looking. And he had Max Cook. Cook could not hang on. Marvin Kalepo was on the play. Kalepo with a nice defensive play for the Wolverines. Good throw from Mosier. Cook has made some great catches all night long. Couldn't haul that one in. Second down and 10. Lake Stevens has been running the ball very well here in the second half. Decided to throw one down the field, see if they can make something happen. Kalepo with a nice defensive play. All right, second 10. Handoff is made. Kakoa shakes and bakes. Avoids a couple tackles and nice little run right there. He has had a nice night. Number 2, Kakoa Okayama. And he had a scare in the first half where he got hit hard, went to the sidelines, but no question he's healthy. He is really running well here in the second half. Another first down for Lake Stevens. Clock ticking away. Only 9:19 to play in this ball game. 14 all. You are looking at 2 of the top teams in the great state of Washington. All right, Blake Mosier rolling right, throwing. Ball hit the ground, I believe. Incomplete. He was looking for Seth Price. Seth Price thought he made the catch. Ball hit the ground, though. Gaden Thompson over there for Bellevue. Let's see how Wolverines defensive coordinator Matt Gilbert, what he'll draw up here. Lake Stevens having their way here in the second half. Blake Mosier. Could be seeing him one day playing a little Major League Baseball, maybe football. Who knows? This is a very talented athlete. Takes snap. He's going to keep it again. Mosier making some carries, and he is brought down by Caden Thompson. 5 yards, though, on the pickup there from Mosier. That's going to set up a big third down and 5 right here for Lake Stevens. Tom Try, mastermind when it comes to offense. Matt Gilbert on the other side, the defensive coordinator for the Wolverines. Let's see what happens here. Big play, football, 14 all, 8:26 to play, third down and 5. Going to the air, and he's got a first down and some change right there. Great little throw from Blake Mosier right there. And that is Seth Price coming up with another grab. Seth Price has made 3 nice catches here in the second half. And we've got a Wolverine down.
In action also this evening is the Bellevue boys water polo team. They defeated Mountain View 19-7 tonight. So congratulations.
All right, we got the Bellevue water polo fans right in front of me, and they just apparently had a nice victory tonight. So congrats to the Bellevue Wolverines water polo team. That's number 33. My apologies for misplacing my roster. Hopefully he is okay. Number 33. For the Bellevue Wolverines, Kiago Aogi. Big part of this defense, one of the starters. They want to get him back there. All right, first down and 10. 8 minutes to go. Handoff. Gelke just continues to pound the rock. Javian Farrell Gelke with another nice run for Lake Stevens. He's been doing a lot of damage tonight. Had a couple huge runs in the third quarter. Both came back because of holding calls. And now Gelke's limping. This game was moving along rather quickly, but some injuries and some penalties have slowed things down just a bit here in the second half. And always nice when you got a parent calling out some formations from the stands. All right, hopefully that's Javian Farrell Gelke getting an applause from both sides. Big part of this Lake Stevens offense. He's had a big night. Good to see him running off the field. Could see a little bit more then from Colton Fink. Kakoya Okayama also getting a lot of carries tonight, and it is Colton Fink who is now in there. Number 1, that's Fink. Mosier looks. Mosier has his man. Touchdown, Lake Stevens. Max Cook with the touchdown grab, and Max Cook coming through. He has been his main target all night long, and Blake Mosier finds Max Cook, and just like that, Lake Stevens has the lead with 7:29 to go. Max Cook with the touchdown grab right there. Getting a high five and a hug from some of his coaches over on the sidelines. Tom Try has to be happy with the way things have been rolling here in the second half. 2 drives, very successful drives, and now it will be Lucas Mooring in to kick the extra point to give Lake Stevens a 7-point lead. Kick is up, and the kick is good. 7:29 to play here from Bellevue Memorial Stadium. Lake Stevens, the 1-0 Vikings, 21. Bellevue Wolverines, 14. Friday night football at its finest. Bellevue Wolverines hosting Lake Stevens. Both teams 1-0. Bellevue starting the season with a nice win over Bethel, who got a big win over Emerald Ridge last night. Lake Stevens starts off the season with a huge win over the defending 4A state champions, the Sumner Spartans. A couple of heavyweights meeting tonight. It's already been a great week of football. Last night in West Seattle, Monty Kohler and O'Day got a nice win over Rainier Beach. Monty now the all-time winningest coach. He was tied with Sid Otten, no more. He holds the record by himself. What a football weekend. Cougars in action tomorrow. The Huskies, they'll be off, a bye week for them, and then crazy to think about it. Next week is already Apple Cup week. Huskies heading over to Pullman. Don't forget as well, Seattle Seahawks football, King 5 TV, the home of the Seahawks. And every Sunday night, after Sunday Night Football on King 5 TV, it is the fifth quarter. Paul Sylvie, the Hall of Famer Walter Jones, Steve Rabel, the voice of the Hawks. Yours truly will have the highlights. That's on King 5 TV. You're watching King 5 Plus right now. Can't say enough about King 5 Plus bringing you high school football. Thank you, Phillips Law Firm. Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you. All right, 7:12 to play. Lake Stevens takes the lead. 2 touchdowns here in the second half for Lake Stevens. Max Cook with the go-ahead touchdown. Nice throw from Blake Mosier. Had a great series. Max Jones gets the carry. We saw a lot of Max Jones on that last drive for Bellevue. They had a very successful drive. But it was Felix Ramsey for Lake Stevens. Had the big interception. Kaysen Carta looking towards the middle of the field. They were in the red zone, and it was Felix Ramsey with the pick. And then Lake Stevens took that turnover and turned it into points. First down and 10. Uh-oh. Nice little run right there. Max Jones, we've seen it before, but hang on. This could be coming back. Couple flags on the field. It's the job of those men right there to figure out what those flags mean. 2 flags on the field. Keegan Brown had the tackle for Lake Stevens. We've been saying Keegan Brown's name all night long. It's going to be holding on Bellevue. Lot of holding calls tonight in this game. Kaysen Carta trying to lead this Bellevue Wolverines team back into this game. They trail by 7 with 6:26 to play. Pitch back. Gonna go deep. Oh! He was looking for Trevin King. There's some laundry on the field, and I think that's going to be pass interference on Lake Stevens. Coach Michael Knipe getting a little tricky out there. And this could work out to be in Bellevue's favor. Kaysen Carta hands it off, gets it back, throws it deep, was looking for Trevin King. Pass was just out of the reach of King. And it looks like they're going to pick up that flag. Lake Stevens side celebrating. Bellevue side not happy at all. The Boo Birds are out. No pass interference. Officials talked about it. They put the flag away. No penalty on the play. Second down and 2 for the Bellevue Wolverines. Trailing by 7. Carta hands it off, and hang on. That's another flag on the field. We may set a record tonight. And that's another penalty on the Wolverines as they continue to march back. They will set up a second down and 7 now. We mentioned this is a very young team. 9 sophomores starting for the Bellevue Wolverines. Some of that youth showing tonight. A lot of these kids making only their second varsity start. Trevin King with the carry right there. Trying to pick up a few yards. Dwayne Masuna helping him up. Neff, Masuna, Fang, all that big offensive line. They've been working hard tonight. 3rd down and 3 for Bellevue. 5:43 to play. 21-14. Lake Stevens with the lead. Max Jones in the backfield, along with R.J. Ward. Handoff to Ward. Ward should have enough for the first down. Nice carry from R.J. Ward. Little misdirection. That's what the wing T loves to do. Throw you off a little bit. Who's going to get the call? Max Jones, R.J. Ward. Jones, Ward. Goes to Ward on that one, and Ward gets the first down. Troy Masuna runs up there, gets on the ball. Kaysen Carta looking to the side, looking to R.J. Ward. Handoff to Jones. Not much there for Jones. Lake Stevens bending but not breaking here in the second half. Giving up yards, but they have not given up a touchdown here in the second half. Bellevue had a 14-7 lead at the half. Lake Stevens now leads at 21-14 with 4:40 to go. 2nd down and 10. Handoff, Ward. Ward picks up about 5 to 6 yards on the play.
R.J. Ward on the carry kicks it into Lake Stevens territory for 49.
The ball now in Lake Stevens territory. Nobody has left Bellevue Memorial Stadium. Week 2. Week 1, we were packed, sold to the rafters at Art Crate Stadium in beautiful Spanaway, Washington. Tonight, another great crowd for high school football. All right, 3rd down and 3. Ward and Jones in the backfield. Handoff. Jones. Jones has some room. Oh! Max Jones says, put me on the highlights tonight, Chris Egan. Mad Max Jones getting up. We were talking about Kaysen Carter, the hurdler. Max Jones says, let me do the high hurdles. Max Jones getting on the highlights tonight with that one. What a run there, Mad Max. If they had those, they do have those stickers on the helmets. I'm surprised Mad Max even has room on his helmet. He should have stickers all over that thing. He is a big playmaker for these Wolverines. 3:52 to go. And apparently, I didn't see the flag. But apparently there was a flag on the field somewhere. Confusion on the Bellevue Wolverines sidelines. Lake Stevens going with the "you can't do that" cheer. Apparently it was another holding call. A mystery flag out there that we didn't spot. 3rd down and 10. Big one here. Carter needs to get something going after that. Carter is going to throw. He's under a lot of pressure. Carter in trouble. Carter scrambles. Not much there. Carter breaks free. Carter! Are you kidding me? Kaysen Carter! Oh, mama! Wow! Oh, my. Kaysen Carter had nowhere to go. Had nowhere to run. The magician, Houdini, somehow found a way. And that could be a turning point tonight. Kaysen Carter, that was an incredible play there to get the first down for the Bellevue Wolverines. I mean, he had 6 Lake Stevens Vikings on his. And referees are talking again. And maybe the flags are invisible because I didn't see one again. Defensive holding. Penalty declined. I think everybody on the Bellevue side just went, thank God. All right, 1st down and 10, 3:39 to go. We got another thriller coming to you live on King 5 Plus. You kidding me? The big game just continues to deliver. 1st down and 10. Handoff is made. That is Raylan Witherspoon. And you're starting to hear it now from the parent sections. Let them play. Another flag is on the field. I think it was Bad News Bears 2 at the Astrodome when all the parents started saying, let them play. I feel like we may have that chant happening again tonight. There he is, Coach Michael Knipe. His brother is on his coaching staff. Got to be frustrated with all the calls happening tonight. To be fair, both teams have a lot of penalties between the two of them. 1st and 20 now. 3:30 to go. Fumble, and it looks like it's recovered by Lake Stevens. Braden Slezak with the recovery. Looks like Case and Carter just lost the ball. And Slezak was right there to jump on it. And that could be a tough break for the Bellevue Wolverines with only 3:18 to play. And they are on their feet on the Lake Stevens side. Frustration on the Bellevue Wolverines sideline. Now, Bellevue still has 3 timeouts. Lake Stevens has 3, but the Bellevue defense is going to have to step up big time here and get a stop. All right, Lake Stevens ball, 21-14, 3:28 to play. Fumble recovered by Lake Stevens. Let's see here if the Bellevue defense can step up. Lake Stevens been having their way of running the ball, and that's what they do to start things out. And there he is, Javian Farrell-Gelke with another nice run. He has had a monster second half for Tommy Try and his Lake Stevens Vikings. As Todd Millis mentioned earlier, that team with the white tops on, that could be one of your favorites to win the 4A state title this year. They already set the tone in week 1 by knocking off a very, very good Sumner Spartans team. Chiawana, another 4A team to keep an eye on. Graham Capallison, I think they are loaded with weapons. I like this Puyallup Vikings team. They're down in Evergreen tonight. There's some talented teams out there. Pitch to Gelke. Gelke gets the carry, and Gelke has another first down. Knocked down by number 29, Marvin Caleppo. 2:33 to go. We'll have big game highlights for you tonight. 10:45 on Kong TV, 11:20 on King 5 TV. And then, hey, check out that King 5 Sports Instagram page. You got your top plays of the week. We will have a big game recap on there for you tomorrow night. That's on King 5 Sports. Instagram page, growing in numbers every day. All right, 2:07 to play, 21-14. Lake Stevens with the ball. Lake Stevens with the lead. Gelke takes the snap. Gelke brought down by Will Lynch. Bellevue's going to maybe start using their timeouts. Will Lynch lost his helmet on that play. He's had a heck of a game. Both coaches telling me these are the games that help them make runs in the playoffs. Playing somebody high caliber early on in the season lets them know where their team is at. I think both coaches, when they look at the film, look at the tape tomorrow, Saturday morning, I think they're both going to be a little frustrated with the amount of penalties tonight. A lot of holding calls, a lot of offsides calls, things that coaches just need to tighten those things up. And there was just too many penalties tonight. And in the end, it's Bellevue with 2 turnovers in the second half, an interception in the red zone and that fumble there. That's the reason they trail right now, 21-14. Getting a measurement. 1:49 to play. Ball right now is on the 27-yard line. All right, 1:49 to play. Bellevue's defense needs to come up with some magic right here. They still have all 3 timeouts. 2nd down and 1. Referee's still trying to get things sorted out there. They're not ready yet. Blake Mosier has had a phenomenal second half. So is the man right behind him, Javian Farrell-Gelke. Will Lynch in that offensive line, paving the way. Caleb Conley, Ted Carra, Rydor Gobin Tolentino, Kenny Buckmiller. First down, offsides. And unfortunately, I don't have a history book here of high school football in the state of Washington, but we may be close to the most penalties ever in a game. Because this has been a lot tonight. And now we're going to take a timeout. 21-14, your score. It's going to be first down and 10. What Bellevue needs to do somehow is slow down Javian Farrell-Gelke. More than likely, Tommy Try is going to run the rock. And if Gelke can pick up enough for a first down, this game could be over. Bellevue Wolverines do not lose a lot at home. In fact, it's a rarity. I don't remember watching too many losses here. But then again, Lake Stevens, pretty good little ball club. Bellevue went up to Lake Stevens last year and got the victory up in Lake Stevens. These two teams like to load up their schedules with some heavyweights early on. And whatever happens here tonight, if you're Coach Knipe with this Bellevue team, a lot of youngsters. We've mentioned 9 sophomores starting tonight. These are all learning lessons. And unless you're out on the field playing, you're not learning those lessons. And these young men are learning a lot tonight in this ball game. All right, here we go. 1:49 to play. Handoff. And there's a stop finally. Javian Farrell-Gelke not going anywhere right there. Desmond Lloyd with the big tackle for the Wolverines. And Bellevue will take a timeout. That's what Bellevue needed to do. Get a stop. Make Tommy Try come up with a decision. Does he go for it on 4th down? Does he try to kick a field goal to try to win it? We'll see. Bellevue needs to come up here with a big defensive play. Matt Gilbert has got his crew together. Caden Thompson right in the middle there. Matt Curran, the sophomore, his father, a baseball player for the Washington State Cougars. Matt Curran had that big interception for Bellevue in the second quarter that led to a touchdown. Does Matt Curran have a little magic still in his hat? They need a turnover. They need a stop. 1:43 to go. 21-14, Lake Stevens has the lead. Blake Mosier going to pitch it out to Javian. It's a fumble, and Bellevue thinks they have it, and they do. Hang on. Hang on. We're not done yet. We are not done yet. Wow. Bellevue's defense coming up big time. Javian Farrell-Gelke has pretty much ran wherever he has wanted to in the second half, they came up with 2 huge defensive plays right there. Caleppo jumps on the ball. Caleppo's had a big night. The Caleppo boys. This is a fun. We got to do a story on this Caleppo family. 3 of them out there playing. Great kids. All right, here we go. 1:39 to go. Bellevue still has a chance, ladies and gentlemen. This is a good ball game. Let's see if Bellevue can have. There's the throw. There's the catch. First down and some change. Nick Nora. I've been told Nick Nora, a phenomenal basketball player. He's looking pretty good on the football field tonight. Kason Carta. Down but not out, the Bellevue Wolverines. Coach Knipe. This is why they are a state championship caliber team. Never giving up. Things not looking great. They come up with a big stop, and then they get the turnover. And then here we go. 1:33 to play. Another thriller coming on the big game on King 5 Plus. Carta looking, scrambling, in trouble. The big question there, he was sacked. I think they're going to say he was down. Officials are going to say he was down. Michael Knipe making sure that they say he's down. And everything pointing that the Bellevue's offense is staying out there and Lake Stevens' defense is staying there. All right, Bellevue just used their last timeout. Lake Stevens has 3, but no need at this point for them to use them. 1:24 to play. It looked like the Wolverines were done. It looked like the night was over. But Caleppo comes through, picks up the fumble, and they have some life. Joe Rizzori, Michael Knipe, what are they going to come up with here? If I'm on Lake Stevens, I'm getting somebody on Nick Nora. I'm getting 2 guys on Nick Nora. And then you got Mad Max Jones. He has come through with some big plays over the years for the Bellevue Wolverines. We'll see if he can do it here. Nick Nora going left. R.J. Ward going right. Carta scrambling. Carta looking. Throws it out of bounds. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 17. Lake Stevens defense. Dylan Finney leading the charge in the secondary. (21-14). Once again, expect to see both these teams playing late into the season, into the playoffs. Getting a good test tonight, learning some things about their teams tonight. Kason Carta with Max Jones by his side. Carta looking to the air. He throws. Catch is made by Nora. He gets out of bounds. Clock stops, but that's going to bring up a 4th down and long for Bellevue. Oh, and we've got another flag. There have been way too many of those tonight. This one from the far side. Waiting to see what this is going to be. Let's see if Bellevue gets a little luck here. The players think this is on Lake Stevens. They're all pointing that way. Maybe it's wishful thinking. We'll see. Still waiting for the officials to come up with something here. This game was set to get done at 8:30, but the amount of flags, it may not get done until 10:30, and unfortunately that will go against Bellevue. It was wishful thinking for the Wolverines, so here we go. A third down and long for the Wolverines. Carter's scrambling. Carter's going to let it go. There's another flag on the field. Holding on Bellevue. Another holding call. Well, it looked like Bellevue had a little momentum after that turnover, but unfortunately, penalties are not helping their cause here with 1:04 on the clock. It's going to be a third down and a long way to go. We're doing a little math with our calculators. It's like third and about 40. Third and 32. Carter's got to let it fly. He's under pressure. Carter throws it, dumps it to Nora. Nora's got a little running room. Nora. Nice little gain right there. That's going to bring up about a fourth down and 4th and 20 and some change. 4th down and 22. So it all comes down to this. 39 seconds to go. 4th down and 22 for the Wolverines. Can Carter find a little magic? He's going to have to let it fly. He does. And pass is incomplete. That will be the ball game. He was looking for Nick Nora. Flag on the field. Oh, boy. Everybody's going to be seeing flags in their sleeps tonight. I don't think this will change anything. I think maybe this was a sideline penalty. If so, if it's charged to Lake Stevens, they'll just take the ball back a few yards. That should do it here. 21-14. Lake Stevens put together a couple nice drives in this second half. Bellevue could just never punch it in the second. They had a great drive, and then it was Felix Ramsey, maybe the play of the night, an interception in the red zone. All right. An unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, but that does not change anything. It will be Lake Stevens' ball. They will take a knee, and it will be Lake Stevens jumping to 2-0 on the season. Impressive start for Tom Try and his Vikings, opening up the season with a win against the defending 4A state champs, and then you take on a team that's a powerhouse in the 3A ranks. Bellevue, second place last year, state title the year before that. You come into their house, down at the half, 14-7. Tom Try still not going to be happy. I know Tom Try well. He's going to be happy about the win, but he's not going to be happy with a lot of the penalties tonight. I know Coach Knipe as well. A lot of things they'll be going through with their young teams. Can't say on this Bellevue team, like I said, 9 sophomores starting in this lineup. These are young mistakes. They happen. And even though he did not score a touchdown, you can't say enough for Javian Farrell-Gelke, running back for Lake Stevens. And there's the celebration right there. It is officially, clock's going to wind down, and that will do it here from Bellevue Memorial Stadium. Your final, Lake Stevens 21, the Bellevue Wolverines 14. Good night, good football, a lot of penalties, but it's only week 2. And there it is, the horn sounds, and that's a final. Hugs on the sidelines, respect for both of these programs, a lot of mutual respect. Tommy Try leading his coaches, Michael Knipe leading his team down the sidelines. Your final, Lake Stevens 21, Bellevue 14. Thanks, everybody, for watching the big game of the week on King 5 Plus. We'll have highlights coming up tonight, 10:45 and 11:20. Calling TV on King 5 TV. Special shout out to, we can't do this without the entire King 5 crew, but the big game is sponsored by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you. Another great night. Up next for the big game, yep, we're going to be heading out to Issaquah. A little right.
The big game is sponsored by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you.